Alright. What the hell is going on, everybody? Up here in the top left side, we've got Basilisk SERRAL. And he's going to be playing here the round of 8 upper bracket match up against MARU for Onside Gaming. MARU is a monster. He's a beast. And remember, he did 2-0 SERRAL in their Swiss round stage. Swiss bracket stage? They played a best of 3 earlier in this tournament. MARU 2-0'd him. Spoiler alert, if you didn't watch that video, we posted it about 9-10 days ago. But it looked great. I mean, MARU played an incredibly greedy game on hard lead. It was reverse spawns on this exact map. And he just got ahead and then kept on harassing SERRAL, taking good trades. Very careful play from MARU after getting ahead. And he went up to 90 SCVs. And SERRAL just couldn't keep up. Never had enough creep out. They never had enough economy. And wasn't able to realize just how greedy MARU was with both a 2-Rax Reaper into a fast third command center, then double engineering bay is what he did that time. This time around, there is a quick second gas up. So it looks like it's probably going to be the factory version, I would imagine. There we go. Factory does go down at home. So far, SERRAL hasn't lost any units. Game 2 of that series. Of course, MARU played a 3cc, but despite going 3 command centers, he went for a crisp marine tank timing. He hit it about 720, and SERRAL just did not see it coming. Wasn't able to handle it, so really good job. That's one of those pushes. If you hit with those early ones, the Zerg often doesn't see it coming because your Hellions still have map control at that stage. And yeah, well, you don't have link spotters all over the map. You can sneak an army over there. It can be very effective. Factory is on the way, and the third command center behind it. SERRAL going for the same scout he went for last time they played. Factory is finishing up. Does he go to scout the third CZ? I think he can assume it's there, and he doesn't want to risk losing the Overlord, so he does back off. Very careful play for SERRAL. Despite that loss to MARU, SERRAL has been looking pretty much unstoppable. Other than that, he's dropped, I think he dropped to like 1 map in a ZvT, and maybe 1 or 2 others, but he's been looking good since then. 3 Marines building at a time. Starport does go down, so it's just going to be the medevacs coming in. And SERRAL hasn't added any special sauce to his build order. We haven't seen any, you know, extra spicy relish on top of this. He's just droning up. He did delay his extra queens. I guess that's something we can point out. Notice he's just hitting his drones as hard as possible because he figures, hey, there's no Hellions. I don't need a lot of queens. Queens help defending the Marines, but it's not as important as just having a lot of economy and making a lot of Zerglings and Banelings generally. So SERRAL is playing an older style where he's only at 4 minutes 20, slowly adding his 5th and 6th queens. He's taking a second gas, and he will be droning over towards that third base momentarily. You see that? Transferring those over there, really optimizing his mining here. And a little oversaturation, but remember, going up to about 20 workers on each base is still quite efficient. First 16 are the most efficient workers, but those guys are good too. Oh, he only gets 1 Reaper. Marines do end up surrounding. Not too bad. Widowmine drops. Oh, it's the Widowmine drop. Okay, MARU's done this so many times in the last year. This is a pretty cool build order. I don't mind it. I've made fun of it a lot in the past, but I feel like every time I say it's bad, he kills like 30 drones with the first Widowmine drop, and every time I say it's good, like this time, it just fumbles really hard. So maybe I'm cursing him at the same time as I say this. 2 more Reapers do go down. The Marines pushing up to that right side, there's really not that many Marines right now. So it is indeed not a double stim drop, by the way. Third command center landing. SCVs are producing. Double engineering bay behind this. It's just a harassment build. Hellion drop's been popular recently, so SERRAL is kind of well positioned to deal with this. Boosting in from very far away means it will run out as he arrives right there in the mineral line, and he's going to try and drop those widow mines in the little crevices where they can't get surrounded as easily. One of them goes down without firing. The other one does kill a few units. Only has 2 Zerglings with the last widow mine. And the final 4th widow mine does pull out. Of course, SERRAL will do a spore trick to set that off, but he's a little bit too slow to pull it back, and the widow mine does get saved. Medevac is, of course, dangerously low, and I don't know if you can even hide in this spot. I think it dies. And, oh, SERRAL, can he get it? Oh, he does. Yeah. Well, I guess I did curse it. This widow mine drop, especially if you don't have any other pressure going on, is never going to work against SERRAL. You really need to be hitting him with Marines at the same time, but MARU played it in a way where it was just a single pressure, and you're just never going to get value out of SERRAL if he only has to look at one thing at a time. Marines coming forward. Queen's out there. Looks like the Evo chamber... Was that the second Evo? Something just got cancelled there. I think it's because he realized he has an evolution chamber at the front, so he doesn't need a third one. Carapace is on the way. Hydrogen building. MARU hasn't found any damage. He's been down 20 workers for a long time, and because SERRAL didn't have to use his queens to fight, the lack of extra queen energy hasn't mattered. He's still got 2 active tumors there, 2 here, and 1 in his main base. And he's starting to bank transfuse energy, so the queens are still going to help him on the defense. But yeah, I feel like SERRAL has just adapted fantastically to this opening. He finds himself with an impressive lead. Give Reina this lead, I would be scared. SERRAL this lead, I'm very scared for MARU. That being said, SERRAL sometimes doesn't quite push the advantage when he could. It's occasionally a weakness of his. Marines and Medivacs cleaning up these overlords on the pillars. We'll get rid of that vision there. Widowmine drop run number 2 into the main. Lings and drones are there. The drones do mineral walk. Kind of slow though. Bit of a slower reaction for SERRAL. Loses 3 workers this time, but of course the Widowmine Medivac drop getting very heavily damaged. Ling Bane rolling in on the front. MARU just going to pick up and pull back. Baneling run by. Oh no, 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 no. Great spready. Beautiful spready there. Only losing 5 workers. Well done. Well, 1 SCV really wants to die. It keeps chasing it, but 5 workers for 5 Banelings is a perfectly fine trade. The worker count surprisingly close right now as well. Even though SERRAL had a big income advantage, he hasn't droned up any of these 4th base options. He's starting to try to squeeze them out now, but they're not out just yet. On the other hand, his Carapace is the fastest upgrade other than the +1 weapons for Terran. MARU hiding that Widowmine drop in the very back. A Queen, a Spore, and a pack of Lings patrolling, ready to defend. 4th Command Center goes down. 2nd Factory with the Tech Lab on the 3rd base is now up. The Widowmine drop still hiding in the back of that base as the Queen is on the edge. Marines dive on the right side. We've got Widowmines now. This is where the micro really starts. Last time, oh, that was quite a lot of Banelings going down for that Widowmine. The Marines, oh my god, MARU not stimming! Not stimming his Marines. Oh no, that was very sloppy. It was looking so good after the first Widowmine hit. He also just F2'd, I think, his Mind Drop into the Queen and Spore. MARU showing a little bit of panic here. Cannot be blinking twice against SERRAL. Remember, we already noticed in their last series, MARU was so far ahead off the openings. SERRAL almost brought it back in the late mid game because his fights were so much better than SERRAL. SERRAL's fights were so much better than MARU's. So if you're a MARU fan, you've really got to hope for him to like either massively turtle or start pulling a Beyond and just multi-prong like a crazy person. You have to go in one of those directions, but I don't think you can keep on doing a normal game plan when you're this far behind and you're outmatched in the mid-game engagements the way MARU is against SERRAL. I know people won't like me saying that. They don't like me ever saying one player's better than their player at a part of the game, but we very clearly saw it. MARU looked amazing, probably between 7 to 10 minutes, roughly. He traded way better than SERRAL, and then SERRAL actually closed the gap in the units lost tab really well after that like 10-11 minute mark. We're getting to that point now. Banelings are rolling in towards MARU's 3rd base. Great pull for him. He's got a tank in position. Zerglin gets deflected on the left. Widowmines do get defused, though. Nice moves there for SERRAL. Takes out those Widowmines, clearing up map control, and you can see he's immediately trying to respread the creep with those queens. I think for SERRAL, he should really take these rocks down as well, as the obstacles favor Terran. Ivan Lurkaden is on the way right now. +1 range and +2 Carapace, so he's prioritizing range over the melee upgrades. All right. Oh, the Banelings got in. Oh, MARU thought that tank would defend that. A little bit lazy. He does lose 9 SCVs. He's still got a good economy, so he can bounce back from it. But, of course, he's behind on that army momentum. Widowmine does get a good shot. Nicely done. But he's forced to pick up and dive deeper into the Zerg territory. There is a double drop in the top right. They should try to get back in if they can. This drop will try to unload on the hatchery and click that down. I think that's a cancel, but the Hydras can focus the Medivacs. You got to watch out. SERRAL not focus firing. Bit of a missed opportunity there for the Finnish player. Queens will get a tiny bit of damage on those Medivacs, but MARU's quick on the micro. He's got the Ghost Academy. He's building a 5th command center, and he clearly has turtling in mind. He wants to play late game. It is MARU's forte. He is one of the best in the game. Let's see. Does SERRAL try to swarm him now in the mid game, or does he try to go to late game and get stuff himself? I mean, he's already got quick lurkers, which could be massive. There's not many tanks on this map. Not a lot of bio over here. Lings are going to take those siege tanks out. Widowmine's trying to burrow. Not getting any big shots off those. SERRAL spreads it too good. Oh, at the same time, the triple drop comes in. Lingbane Hydra's on top of it. Those Marines. Oh, the Banelings kind of connect with them. Good micro by MARU at the last second, but his 3rd base is getting breached. Oh, lordy, lord. That ain't looking good. Lots of SCVs going down. He will kill the base on the left side. At the same on the right, his Marines are trying to come back to help, but the Ling Bane was tracking them the whole way. Massive damage there for SERRAL. He's still got units down in the bottom left. Those are getting cleaned up, but he trapped every SCV on this base. 25 workers going down. Triple drop in the top left does pull back, but SERRAL wins fights in 3 places on the map at once. He's now ahead. 1,400 resources in the units lost. Terran is always meant to be ahead against Zerg, or almost always. And in this case, with Ling Bane being more efficient than you, you're dead. If Ling Bane is even close to even efficiency, usually you're dead. But if you're behind, you're screwed. It means you are getting hammered so hard that it's going to be nearly impossible to get back in. If they play Roach, Infester, very fast Vipers and Lurkers, they're using those spellcasters for great combo value, Zerg can get ahead, right? We've seen Dark do that before, but it's very rare, and you definitely should not be able to do that with a suicide unit, the Baneling, unless the Terran is on the back foot and really struggling. Which right now MARU is. It's been a bad start to this best of 5 for him. The Widowmine drop didn't work out. It was a very low pressure opening for him, and it seems like SERRAL had the read. You got to realize when a low pressure opening leaves the Terran player way behind, it's because the Zerg wasn't afraid. He realized what was happening. He's handling it very well. Widowmines are getting decent hits on the Zerglings. Oh, abducting a Liberator there, but not able to complete it. The Blinding Clouds on the tanks, not convincing enough for SERRAL to continue, and I think a wise choice for him to keep these units back. He's going to take that one out there. I like how he holds positions to try to make sure the Banelings don't move in. Spire going down for SERRAL. He's thinking already about that next step. I'd like to see a few Infestors set up for ambushes, but because MARU's playing so turtily with tanks, libs, mines, and turrets, seems like it's not high on his priority list, feeling like I'll never get an Infestor in there because there's turrets that'll detect it. 10 Hydras, 92 Zerglings, and soon to be 43 Banelings when those 10 finish morphing. I think that's a good number. You really don't want too many Hydras. Just having enough to add some range damage in the back usually will get the job done. Widowmine shot does get set off on the left. Widowmine on the right, ready to fire. Let's see if it can get a big one. Nope, gets taken down before it can. Abducting Liberators out of siege mode. Ling Bane rolling forward. Hydra's cleaning up the static defense. The micro back is really nice for MARU. He just doesn't have the numbers. There is way too many Banelings here. SERRAL has been far ahead for too long. MARU is not... He's a very good player. Sometimes he's a magician. When you're playing SERRAL, you're that far behind, you need to be, I don't know, some sort of... you need to be at least a minor deity, some sort of god. You can't do that as a regular human nor a magician. Let's go into the second game. Basilisk SERRAL in the bottom right side. MARU in the top left. I don't know. I think if we think about the previous series, MARU had 2 very pointed builds that caught SERRAL off guard. And I think his plan here is simply to take a step back and play a bit more normal and hope that SERRAL's maybe a bit more worried about what's coming. But the thing is, he still let SERRAL scout what he was up to. And I felt like SERRAL is just so good at defending that Widowmine drop. Like, that Widowmine drop in general, pretty much all the top Zergs, I'd say 8 times out of 10, that Widowmine drop doesn't really pay for itself unless you're doing it in tandem with other things. It's kind of like in TVP, there's the build where you go for a Liberator, a Widowmine drop, and a Marine tank push at the front at the same time. And one of those things on its own sucks. Except the Widowmine drop is arguably okay if you do it pretty early. But like a Liberator or just a Marine tank push on its own, very weak the way that would be executed in TVP. But if you do all 3 at once, it's so hard for the Protoss to micro the Stalkers, to whittle down your Marine tank on the way across the map, defend the Widowmine drop in the natural, and the Liberator in the main at the same time. And I think that's kind of what I'd like to see MARU do if he wants to do more Widowmine drop harassment. Now, he's gone... Wait, Command Center gas before Barracks? I don't think I've seen that before, and I don't know if that's good. Oh, I get it. He's doing this specifically because then he doesn't have to go double gas. Normally you have to go double gas to get a quick factory. He's doing it in between. Rather than playing Command Center into 3 racks or Command Center into Barracks double gas, he's saying this way I can still get a Marine into a factory pretty quickly, but I can also squeeze in a fast 3rd Command Center because I'm not wasting so much money building a 2nd gas and then mining a lot of extra gas early on. He actually could start the Command Center now, even before going orbitals. He's saving money for orbitals first, which is fair enough. Getting the orbitals on time is very important. You can see the money get spent. Orbital, Marine, and factory. This is actually a very cool opening. Oh, he does go 2nd gas instead of 3rd Command Center. I would have definitely liked to see the 3rd Command Center first. for a super economic opening and maybe do something in the vein of what he pulled out on hard lead last time. SERRAL, of course, has gone for a rather standard opening, 16 hatchery, 18 gas, 17 pool. He's got a very fast ling speed on the way. SERRAL playing very safe. However, he could turn this to his favor if he chooses to, say, build a bunch more Zerglings. He tried a ling flood on game 2 on Solaris, I believe it was, against MARU last time they played. And yeah, he surrounded and killed a few Hellions, but got a few Marines, got some damage. It didn't really come out on top, but it was a nice little disruption. We'll know when this Overlord finishes if he decides to mass Zerglings or not. Zerglings are going to run in, see the factory swapping. He sees the starport. He knows there's no third command center yet. And of course, he can tell it's a command center first build as well, Ken SERRAL, as that Marine tries to corner the Zergling. And the Zergling's like, no, not yet. I'll survive a few seconds longer. He could have cut left and circled the main. Yep. Oh, MARU just attacked his own building reactor. Third command center does go down over there. The Zergling has ling speed now, which means as long as he micros it, SERRAL can definitely keep scouting. Oh! Did he see it? I think he saw it. I think he saw the third command center just barely. No, he didn't. So he didn't see the third command center. He can probably assume it's going down soon anyway. And what have we got behind this? 3 queens. He's got already 2 tumors on the north. 1 out there to the west. No tumor connecting the main base. And a Banshee and Cloak are on the way for MARU. MARU's third command center will probably be sealing off his wall off. However, I don't know if that will be I think that'll be a double. Yeah, I think that'll be a complete wall off with the command center there. Oh, sorry, he's already building it, isn't he? Never mind. Guess he'll just finish off with the depots. Rare to see the top pros wall off with engineering bays anymore. And what? MARU bringing out a mech? No way. No way. I love that MARU's been mixing this in lately. It's very cool. It's hard to finish off your opponent, and SERRAL and the Europeans in general are meant to be very good versus mech. Looks like he killed 2 creep tumors there, made SERRAL replace one of them. Very nice. Overlord gonna get sniped down. Got a nice question from CFO in the chat. It says they've been really enjoying my Zerg Bronze to GM over on my coaching channel. So we can answer that quickly while not too much is happening. It's going to be a little while till the Hellion Banshee shows themselves across the map. They've said, is there any changes you'd recommend for a Zerg who's stuck around Platinum 2 since the Baneling nerf happened for the Ling Bane Bronze to GM? No, not really. I think it's, you know, as always, you got to be critical thinker to be good at StarCraft, to improve at StarCraft. You got to put in effort. I definitely advise posting replays of any problems you regularly run into in my Discord, in the live report threads. That goes for anyone watching. If you guys play StarCraft, run into any brick walls, any problems, there's a lot of people discussing in my Discord and giving free coaching to each other. So it's a really nice community of people helping each other out. I poke my head in there pretty regularly and give advice as well. So if you do want to get some advice on your games, get some free coaching without paying the big bucks, that is a nice way to get involved in a community and get some free advice. Now, this is so weird. He's actually going full Cyclone Hellion Banshee mech now. This is bizarre. SERRAL's up 10 workers. He's trying to play Spire, which is very smart. He gets a Banshee kill. That's a bit of a mistake for MARU. You don't want to be losing Banshees for free like that. But he's hiding the Cyclones at home for now. Lings are going to do a bit of a backstab on the right side. Baneling speed is on the way. There's still no Roach Horn, which I find bizarre. Lings going after these SCVs in the third. To not even open up the Roach tech seems a little bit ridiculous. Now, the new Cyclone doesn't do that much damage, but I'm pretty sure it still prioritizes locking on air units, Mutalisks, instead of the other ones. Because they changed that in the previous patch at the start of the year, where Cyclones became a little bit better at locking onto Mutas automatically. Double Armory goes down. MARU's still pumping Cyclones and Hellions. He's got Hyperflight Rotors, that's Banshee speed, as well as Hurricane Thrusters. Both finishing in a moment. No Blue Flame just yet. And this is an army that it's kind of like an army you want to be a head-on economy against the Zerg. It's not an efficient composition in the long term. It's just a very mobile comp. You're kind of trying to use mobility and almost out-Zerg the Zerg player. Overseer gets back, nice transfuses on that. Normally you look for big Ling surrounds to deal with these sorts of armies. SERRAL pulling back from his fourth though. He's just going to transfer drones off to the right. Big Ling run by does come in. He's looking for those fresh mules. Going to go after the Ling, building the fourth command center as well. Serral not willing to fight this until his Mutalisks are out. He does pull the whole army of Maru home. Maru with some nice stacking in the pocket. And those Lings will come back for more, but the Hellions, of course, cleaning them up. Cyclone barely survives there. Mutalisks trying to fly across the map. Looks like, no, he's going to use them to fight front on, but this is going to be a problem. He's going to get spotted. The Banshees see him. Maru's not pulling back. Okay, he does. Maru does pull back. There's no turrets up. There's no engineering bay. He can't even start turrets. He's only just started building an engineering bay. Oh, no. He has to split his Cyclones between both bases. SCV's taking big losses. A few of these Mutalisks do go down. Actually, only one falling. Siege Tank gets picked off as well. Banshees on the other side will take out that hatchery by the looks of it. Meters into the main base. I'll keep this hatchery selected. You guys can keep that an eye on that hit points down there. It looks like the Banshees have gone onwards into the main of Serral. Meanwhile, Serral's Meters stopping at 12 worker kills. They are backing off for now. Banshees taking down the drones in the main base. That's great damage. That is Overlord speed finished so he can catch the Banshees. Oh no! Maru's going to try to split up and get at least some of these Banshees home, which is a great idea. Serral having a bit of an umming and ahhing and kind of maybe letting that Reddit point Banshee slip away. This one will go down. But it looks like the other two Banshees do make it home. So far, 2 Banshees have fallen. 1 Cyclone, 1 Tank, 3 Marines, but 18 SCVs is the real problem. That being said, Maru's so quick with rebuilding. He's floating a new 4th out. He's now got a turret in each base. His 1-1 is almost finished. And he's got an extra 3rd Tech Lab 3rd Tech Lab 2nd reactor building, as well as a few turrets to guard his production. Interesting that Serral's still massing Mutalisks. I really was not expecting this style of play from the Finn. I thought he'd be going for Roaches here to back this up, and whilst he does have a Roach Horn, he hasn't started Roach speed yet. A little bit of an oversight from him. I don't know how this scales into the later stages. My experience tells me Widow Mines are essential. If you have Widow Mines mixed in, Serral's army is atrocious. But that's why in Roaches don't really care about Widow Mines, especially with good Ravager micro. The thing is, I think Maru is so convinced it's just a bit of Lingbane Muta and he's going to transition off of it, that he's kind of like, oh yeah, I'll get some Thors. But Thors, they're not that great versus Mutalisks. They're not bad, but they're definitely not as great as you might think. 1-1's done. Maru does need to find the cash for 2-2, but he hasn't been able to just yet. He's building Medivacs. I was wondering if we'd see Medivacs. We might see Hellbat drops. Gumio almost beat Serral in a macro game on Altitude last year with mech, including Hellbat drops. Oh, Banelings roll in, get a few buildings, 3 SCVs. Yeah, good defense by Maru. +2 flyer attack, +1/1 carapace melee on the way. Interesting that there's no range upgrades in there. And of course, Roach speed is almost finished. The Roaches are now being added in a decent number. Serral's still trying to just clean up the Banshee harassment attempts with his Mutas. And looks like he'll just barely get rid of one of those. Good Thor shot in the middle of those Mutalisks. Still no Widow Mines building. Obviously, Widow Mines are very awkward to control. You want a more mobile army that's easier to move around with the Cyclone Thor, but definitely they're great against the Lingbane as well. Oh, Maru's not watching. He was looking in the main base. Lets the Banelings in. More buildings going down. I mean, Serral has 90 workers. Anytime he trades like this, it's very good for him. And in fact, he's actually traded positively so far, using those Mutalisks to great effect. Greater Spires on the way, Ultra Cavern, Spines and Spores all over the map, as well as that gold-based mining. If Serral can start mining out the corners, that will, of course, help him in the long run, but I don't really think he's expecting this game to go to the very end stage. Unless Maru refuses to go Ghost. Actually, Ghost Mech, he beat Serral with this hard in 2022, Katowice, I believe it was. And he never played Ghost Mech against him again since then. But Serral looked like he had no response to it. Like, he just looked like he could not handle Maru's late game when he gets Ghost, Lib, Thor, Hellbat, all these units up. Here comes the Roach Ravager. Watch out, Maru. Here comes the Roach Ravager, Zergling, Baneling. The Thors are going to try to run. Oh, the Mutalisks getting shredded. The Banelings roll forward. I love the Medivac saving one of those Thors in the back. A couple Thors do go down. As long as he doesn't lose any more to the Biles, I think he's okay, though. There's only one Thor and a few Cyclones that died there. It's actually an amazing fight for Maru. Remember, Maru was behind in the units lost tab. He's now up over 3,000 resources. Gets rid of a Ravager on the way home as well. That was awesome. Maru is so good at surviving. I didn't think the early game was good for him this time, especially with those Mutas catching him off guard. Serral's also got a gold-based mining, but despite that, Maru's going to force this into a big macro game. And look at that. Yes, he's got armor upgrades on the way for Bio and 3 more barracks and a Ghost Academy. So he's going to go Ghosts. The reason he's going armor is he just wants the Ghost to be tanky. They're mostly going to be sniping. Over time, he might get a second engineering bay and add attack upgrades as well. But they're mostly spellcasters. They're mostly there for EMPing and sniping. Ling's coming in for a counterattack. Ooh, he's maxed. He's only got a Thor there. That's a problem. Uh-oh. Maru? Maru! Oh my god, Maru's not reacting. Maru's tunnel visioning on the front right now. He's going to lose so many SCVs on that third. He's treating this kind of like an all-in counterattack, and it will do a lot. But, oh man, his Hellbats aren't even fighting right now. That Thor almost dying. The Hellbats, the tanks, and the Thors go over there. SERRAL jumps on him. Blinding Cloud. Blinding Cloud ambush onto the tanks. The Banelings clear all the Hellbats that had spread to the right side. The Rocha Ravager finishing off a few of those tanks, but they do get shredded on the ramp. Once again, units lost tab still 4,000 in favor of Maru. But losing that base of workers did suck. Luckily, he's on such a high worker count, it is not the end of the world. He does probably want to get a planetary over here. I feel like that's the weak point right now that SERRAL has found. Siege tank in the open on that right side getting chased down. Ling run by on the left. Army coming in on the right. Tanks getting caught out. Another siege tank goes down to those Zerglings. SCV's forced to evacuate. Luckily, the blue flame is done. The 2-2 is done, so those Hellbats will be able to mostly deal with the Zerglings. Not completely, but mostly. Burrow is finished. SERRAL going to force Maru to scan those units down. Oh, and indeed he will do so. SERRAL, though, quick for the unburrow. Immediately just moves out of scan range and burrows them again. Being as annoying as possible. Massive attack on the front. There's not many units here. I love the SCV pull away. He doesn't want to get those workers trapped. Unfortunately, his Thors are heavily damaged, though. Baneling's taking out the repairing SCVs. The Thors and the planetary will actually defend that base, I believe. As long as he repairs the base. Maru, if he repairs that base, he will be okay. That base is going to start getting repaired there. The Thors are okay. Ling's moving down the bottom side. Maru's supply might not be that good, but SERRAL's in trouble right now. He's down 6,000 resources in the units lost. He's had more mining for a long time, but Maru with his massive 90 worker style can just absorb so many punches. And his 3-3 is almost done, which I think as the upgrades go up, it does favor Terran a little more than Zerg because you're getting so much bonus damage on those weapon upgrades, for instance. Those Zerglings being a nuisance, though. He scans, sees the gold base. Looks like the Hellbats take out most of the Zerglings, finally getting rid of that last one. A couple burrowed Zerglings on the front as well. SERRAL tries to unburrow them, and they do get taken out. Ultras on the way for SERRAL. He's got Infestors and Vipers as well, but as the Ghosts come out, two big things could be game changers. If you can EMP the Infestors and the Vipers, and if you can snipe the Ultras, it'll be massively Maru favored, but if you can't really do that, the spells could be huge. Because you're covering so much ground as Maru. You don't have that command center I talked about. This planetary on the bottom side is exposed. Siege tank trying to move down there right now. Planetary will get taken out. It does take out 24 kills before 24 Zerglings before it goes down. And we will see that base no doubt get retaken immediately. SERRAL still down at 22,000 resources lost to 16,000. A single Raven gets built by Maru. A good idea just to have a bit of detection. +2 armor, +1 weapons on the way for the Ghosts. And the Ghost count is up to 10 now. Infestors trying to sneak in. Maru does not have a turret here. Looks like that turret got cleaned up at some point. Those Infestors. Oh, is he going to fungal harass? No, he's going to neural ambush. Oh, he's luring him in. He's gonna steal a bunch of Thors. Oh my god, he might even EMP. He could steal and EMP the other Ghosts. Oh, no, he's just going to hentacle them. He steals 3 Thors, turns them on massive Infestor ambush. Beautiful maneuver here for SERRAL. Takes out a bunch of these Thors. He's going to have to pull off. As those Neurals break, he does have to pull away. One of the Infestors goes down, but great fight. Forces the lift, gets 5 SCVs. He's maintaining a 6,000 resource loss deficit, which sounds bad, but you got to realize the bigger the numbers go, if it's 6,000 a minute go, it's still 6,000. That means you're trading evenly in this last fight. Every time you're trading evenly, that's huge. You're always looking for the difference between the two players and whether that increases or gets smaller in the overall ratio as well to look at all-time effectiveness and efficiency. So the longer it goes where it stays a 6,000 gap and big fights are happening, the smaller the effectiveness of Maru in terms of that overall efficiency. Remember, Maru has to dump a lot of money into command centers to play this late game style. It gives him an advantage in the end game technically, and it's SERRAL's job to stop him getting there. It's SERRAL's job to use his mobility to strike at these bases as they're exposed, take him out and do what he can. Lots of Zerglings on the south. That hatchery will go down. Oh, no cancel. It does die. SERRAL still hasn't taken the top right. The top right, the bottom left are very important to mine out. If you can steal some resources from this base or this base, that's a bonus. But right now, Serral's focused on winning the game. He's focused on killing him. Command Center does lift there. Scan goes down. The Ghost could do some snipes, but he doesn't want to get caught by the mass Baneling. These Ghosts are a bit too far out on their own. Planetary goes down, and the Command Centers have to fall back. Gotta watch out as Serral. Good choice to pull back here. Does break the lock-ons. Oh, a couple snipes do land. Lings in the south cleaned up by the Hellbats. Good defense there, up to 7,000 resource loss gap. Maru taking this new base on the low ground is very dangerous though. That base and this base at the same time, I would argue makes no sense. I think you want to defend this high ground area and you want to defend this one. Or leave this base, take the one on the low ground, retake it later. But if you expose yourself on this flank and this flank, you let Serral grab his whole army and engage only part of your army. It's a classic mistake in late game Zerg versus Terran. If you're playing Ghost Mech, there's no timer on you. You can play as slow as you want. The only addition you want in terms of tech is lib range. Lib range and some ship weapons upgrades. The only thing missing for Maru, but only part of his army's here. Nothing has stopped those blinding clouds. The Vipers do fall to the Thors, but the Ultras are getting a decent bit of surface area. Thors are falling faster than you'd want. If the Ghosts were here, that would have been a terrible trade for Serral. He would have sniped all of those before any of the Thors went down, and he would have lost so much. But as it is, only a 7,400 resource loss difference. So that was a relatively even trade. And remember, relatively even trades are good. He neurals the Ghost and EMPs a bunch of that Ghost energy away. Great ambush by Serral. Serral's pulling out all the tricks right now. 8 more Ultras on the way. Serral's whole plan is Ultras are amazing as long as they don't get sniped. I can either use EMP against you with a sneaky neural, or I can get Banelings on top and stop your snipes ever connecting. Those are the two things he's looking for. Serral does not have a lot of bank. He has to keep going. He has to keep attacking. He's transferring a lot of drones to that top right base right now, realizing, hey, I don't need to mine these bases yet. I can take them later. He says, let's mine out that top right. Very wise choice. Top right, top middle base, sorry. Top left, I guess you could almost call it for Maru. It's going to go down. He keeps pulling the SCVs very quickly, which is nice. Siege tank does get picked off south, but it looks like a few of those Zerglings falling as well. Ghosts, as they come forward, can punish this. There are a few Infestors and a lot of Banelings, though. Serral would love to bait him out, chase me a bit too far, and I will Fungal Baneling ambush you. But it's a bit too suspicious right now. The way he's moving his army, Maru realizes something's up, and he's like, yeah, I'll see if I can land an orbital here, but I can't really, you know, commit to defending it. I think just focus on defending this bottom base, and you should be good as Maru. Maru really should want to slow the game down. You're playing against a guy who's playing Mass Ultra. There's no need to push right now. The gold base is already almost completely mined out. Zerglings and an Ultra do deny the top mounting base. As I said, that's just a distraction. But I like the Watchtower. It's actually a good enough position. I think you can hold this. But if I was Serral, I'd clear this base. I'd say, oh, if you want to deny my gold, I'll give that up. I'll take out that middle base. I think that would be optimal, but if he can land Blinding Clouds, he might be able to just break this. Anti-armor missile, not an important ability at all. Oh, can he land snipes? The Ghosts are on the run. Maru, he lands a few snipes on the Ultras there. Their tank's doing pretty well. There's still 2 more tanks that he can pull back into. The Banelings all get gunned down. Nice defense by Maru. He's up to 9,000 or 8,500 resources in the units lost. Not too bad. He is continuing to trade a little better than Serral over time, and he's got the bank to mostly remax. Losing those gases in the north did cost him, but he's still got at least 6 gases mining for the moment. His natural has mined out. Oh, I like that move from Serral. Comes in and unzips his fly. Shows a bit of the finished caustic spray there. Liberator harass down south. We'll take out a bunch of these libs, or these drones, sorry. Siege tank should be able to kill that Spore Crawler eventually. Oh, in the north, Zerglings come in. Siege tank does defend it. Nicely done. Liberator pulls back for Maru. Serral's coming in. Lingbane Ultra in the south side. Ghosts are there. I'm so impressed that Maru has made it this deep into the Ghost Mech. Serral's being very tricky, though. He's realizing that Maru doesn't really have any of these positions entrenched. Remember I talked about the planetary here earlier? Filling in some of these gaps, especially on a map on like Golden Ore, where your bases get very spread out, is pretty huge. He's denying 2,500 gas and about 300, 400 minerals. About 400 minerals, say, down here. From being mined. Not a massive amount, but when it gets to the end of the map and no resources being left, trust me, it's very important. +2 flyer armor on the way for Serral. Oh, he's going for it. He's going for it. Can the Banelings hit the Hellbats? It's a lot of Hellbats, but they're very clumped up. The snipes! The snipes! Oh, great snipes on the Ultras. Amazing fight for Maru. He loses 9 SCVs, but look at that. He's now 14,000 resources ahead. My lord, that was the first big engagement that's going to basically make Serral have a panic attack. And oh my god, it's not panic attack. It's a pre-planned swap. He's trying to go into Broodlords. MARU says, screw that. I'm going to push and deny your economy right here, right now. A great choice. But he needs more Thors. He's got 3 out with 3 building. He only has 5 factories. He's only got 5 factories? I guess he's very ghost reliant at this stage of the game. Normally you'd want to have 8 factories, but because he's played Ghost Mech, he didn't want to slow down the Ghost transition too much. So he can only build 3 at once. I do think having the starport on the reactor would be fantastic to build some Vikings as well. He's scanned, he's seen it. So he knows it's, okay, you're playing Broodlord Infested Viper. This is where, yeah, a Viking does start up. So he's going to add a few Vikings in the mix. He doesn't have ship weapons upgrades. He's only got 2-3 on the go, so he is missing the +3 ground attack. And of course, he's only got +0 ship weapons. So Vikings actually aren't going to be very useful unless he gets some better upgrades. Zerglings do trade to take out a siege tank, but still looking great on the defense for MARU. Especially if he can deny this top right base. If SERRAL doesn't get to suck up these resources, then he's kind of screwed. I like that SERRAL's long distance mining, realizing, okay, I just need to try to grab these, but I'm not sure if I want to invest in a hatchery right now. His income overall has dropped below MARU's. MARU's building a lot more command centers. Now, this is a questionable decision. 3 more command centers when you're already mining out the relatively, you know, not abundant minerals on this map. Arguably, gas is the limiting factor, but if you spend too much on command centers, your minerals may actually run out. So I think those 3 command centers is fine, but any more than that is where it starts to be an end game problem. And this is the end game pretty much. Ship weapons is starting. He's got a nuke on the way. Still no fusion core, which means, of course, no medevac energy upgrade. Not that that matters. They are still full of juice, but also it means no lib range, which is the more important thing. I feel like when you give MARU lib range, Infestors really struggle to get anything done. Great snipes. Only one of them lands on that Ultralisk. Remember, it does take 4 130 damage snipes to take down an Ultralisk. Snipe does ignore armor. +3 flyer attack, +3 flyer armor is on the way. So yeah, those Broodlords are going to be tanky. They're going to have 4 armor against the +1 ship weapons Vikings. Thors, of course, are the bigger problem. They've all got their big guns out. They've all got that high-impact payload activated right now. That is the single target fire attack. It has 11 range, 250mm Punisher cannons. Just saying, guys, I'm not the sort of guy to name his junk, but if I was going to, 250mm Punisher cannon seems like a good name. Seems like something I could be proud of. Unsolicited Punisher cannon pictures, a big problem actually in the Terran military. They had a bit of a movement go on where a lot of officers were outed. Thor pilots for sending unsolicited ones of those to a lot of the other people. It's going to be 21 Broodlords. This is a crazy Broodlord count, guys. 4 starports are building right now. Oh, I like the Spore push. Oh, the nuke is smart. The nuke is really, really smart. He's looking for it. He's looking... Okay, so SERRAL wants to snipe it. SERRAL wants to snipe it, but the Overseer goes down, so he can't. Oh, he fungles it! But he'd already shot at the other units. One of the Thors just went down, guys. That's what happens when there's 21 Broodlords, is they're just like, lol, did you have a Thor there? Not anymore. On the other hand, he already lost 2 Broodlords. He lost 2 Broodlords, an Overseer, and a few other units in that fight. So it's not exactly good trading. But if he can crack through and there's not quite enough anti-air, if he can land some murals on the Thors, like, this is actually so problematic. There's only a few siege tanks and 1 lib in the back. That's not enough to deal with the Infestors necessarily. Oh, look at that. The Thor almost goes down to a volley. There's still 21 Broodlords. He didn't lose any. Fungal comes in. Abduct on the lib. Nicely done. Oh, if he could Blinding Cloud those Thors. They're clumped up. They're clumped up. If he can Blinding Cloud the Thors, that'd be massive. Broodlords go in. They're shooting the Hellbats right now. He's going to try and take out that Thor. No. He's just shooting the Hellbats for now. Snipes coming in on the right side. No, not able to land. Tries to EMP. Doesn't land it on any of the big spellcasters. Fungal catches a single ghost. This is intense micro on both sides. MARU should abandon this position. He's about to lose the planetary. Unless he's convinced he can take this fight, he's got to be careful because the Spore crawlers are such a problem. I think MARU should just back away from this area and seed it. Right now, he's mining. He's still trading better. Never mind, he's trading better. It doesn't matter. As long as he holds onto this position and mines it out, he will be doing very well. But uh-oh, a tank and a Thor go down. Great fungal on the ghost on the right side. The Broodlords are trying to pick things off. There's still 21 Broodlords. The Thors unable to get attacks off. The way SERRAL is throwing Broodlings, and then when the Thors are busy attacking them, he quickly gets in range, throws a volley, and gets out before the Thors recharge their attack. That sounds crazy, because Thors attack pretty fast. But remember, they still have to kind of swap between targets, and the acquiring of the target takes a fraction of a second. The 0.91 attack speed takes a bit of a second, and these guys can't stack up like the Broodlords can. So the problem is the Thors, only 1 or 2 on the edge get a shot off, whereas all 21 Broodlords get a shot off. Watch the way SERRAL micros this. He's looking for the fungal. Fungal parasitic bomb on the Vikings could be massive. A Broodlord goes down. Transfuse has saved one of those Broodlords. So far, guys, 4 Broodlords for 17 Thors have died this game. A lot of those Thors did die earlier, though. Ghost sacrifices himself. EMPs, but only hits a few of the infestors. The idea of sacrificing a Ghost for that is absolutely worth it. Look at this. Good Viking control. Snipes 1, snipes 2. Great micro. I've talked to MARU about this, and SERRAL, sorry, many times over the years, and he's always said you need to have enough Vikings to either 1 or 2 shot a Broodlord so that you can use that to pick at the Zerg with long-range units. EMP's coming forward. He's throwing them blind, doesn't land any of them, and MARU's Ghost does go down, but it's the right idea. You have to be ready to throw those blind. Hellbats are ready to try and clean up the Broodlings. And here we go. The Vikings, though, doing pretty well. But watch out! Parasitic Bomb Fungal lands on the southern side. Fungal trying to land on the north. Another Parasitic Bomb goes down on the north as well. The Vikings are falling to the spores and the spells. There's still 19 Broodlords left. MARU lost that fight pretty badly. He's back to 11,000 resource loss advantage. Before that one, he was up to like 16,000. He just lost a lot of Vikings. He's going to kill the hatchery. But MARU needs to give this base up, in my opinion. I think he should go elsewhere, clear up the tech, clear up the bases a little bit, because I know Mech doesn't seem very mobile. Oh my god, he's attacking his own changelings. He's attacking his own Broodlings to try and siege from far away, but remember, Broodlings got nerfed. That's nowhere near as good as it used to be. He's still going to go for it, though. Massive fungal! Massive fungal on the Vikings, but he doesn't have enough firepower to finish them off. The Broodlords are heavily damaged, but not that many died. 10 Broodlords have died for still 17 Thors, but 10 Vikings went down as well. So 6 Broodlords for 10 Vikings does seem pretty good. 12,000 resource loss difference. Bottom left base, SERRAL sucking up that gas. Oh my god, so that gas is actually coming in handy. A barracks does go down at the front. There's only 3 barracks left building the Ghost. There are 4 starports building Vikings with no add-ons. Lib range never came in this series, so fusion cores only now being built. As I said, I think libs are one of the best ways of zoning out the infestors. But this is why the spore crawlers are so important, because it's a 0 supply option of anti-air. SERRAL can move around. The downside is SERRAL has no mobility. He's got 41 Zerglings, 14 Banelings. The rest of his army is just Broodlords, Corruptors, Infestors, and Vipers. Only 1 Queen as well, so not much Transfuse available. Queen Transfuse is a great way of converting minerals into saving your gas over the long term to win these long-term matchups. Zerglings do find the SCVs in the north. A bunch of the buildings up there will go down as well. MARU not defending this northern base. There's still a little bit of resources that are important to defend, but I don't think losing the SCVs really matters too much at this stage. Hellbats for clearing creep down the bottom. MARU not pulling workers. I think that's a very conscious decision. This is not MARU screwing up. He tried to trap those, I think. Lifting his command center. Yeah, because the thing is, he doesn't... He's got too many workers down here, so we can just move those up. He's scanning. MARU does have the Iron Bank, by the way. He has 10 orbitals. He doesn't want to build any more of those. He's got to save his money for army now. MARU's a little down on overall supply. He's building 5 more Vikings. I think 16 is the absolute max, and probably too many. The reason is the more Vikings you get, the more value you're giving SERRAL on his spellcast. This is why, generally speaking, and look at that, 2 Zerglings, you've got to leave a Hellbat here. MARU's not going to leave anything there. These 2 Zerglings will kill a bunch of SCVs, almost certainly, when he decides to unburrow them. But yeah, the problem is if you go to 20 Vikings, they get ravaged by Parasitic Bomb. They get ravaged by Fungal. And if you can land all your EMPs perfectly, in theory it works well. But the game never goes according to plan, does it? That's StarCraft. That's warfare. Drones are being sacrificed. SERRAL is sucking up these resources. Whoever mines the top right looks like they might be able to win this game, unless the other player can crush them in a big battle. Out of bank, close to maxed out Thors do get a single shot off on the Broodlords. Drones are attacking this starport, funnily enough. He's saying, hey, kill these for me, please. I'd like a bit more army supply. Lib range and +3 ship weapons is finally coming in. Oh, he dodges the Fungal, gets a Broodlord. Thors do very well. Dude, that was a nice fight. He loses a Thor, but he just killed a bunch of Broodlords. 3 Broodlords went down. I think he might have got a Viper as well. Great control there with the Vikings barely dodging the Fungal and the Thors fighting the Broodlords along with them. Drones are still killing that unit. The attack warnings... See, MARU, this is MARU's vision. MARU's going to keep getting those attack warnings. He's so tunnel visioned up here because honestly, losing a starport doesn't really matter. It seems dumb. It seems like he's playing bad. He's not. Lib range is kicked in. The Liberators, you can see now, sieging much further in front of themselves and zoning out those infestors. Tanks also very good at killing infestors, but they can also clear the spores. So SERRAL's going to want to kill that siege tank if he can. Abducts. Oh, he abducts a Liberator, loses a Viper. Second Viper does abduct a Liberator. It barely survives. Broodlord runs in and dies, though. The Vikings take out an Overseer as well. Siege tank doing very nicely. Drone's still struggling to kill that 3 armor starport. They only do 2 damage in attack. Does take 650 worker attacks to kill that, and they do build very slowly, or attack very slowly. 2 Liberators only right now, and he's got 2 siege tanks, 2 libs. Seems good. But if those infestors land Neurals, you need to kill them very quickly to break them. Otherwise, if SERRAL can use a 2 supply unit to both remove 6 supply from your side of the battle, add 6 supply to his side of the battle, suddenly you can see just how game-changing Neural Parasite is. If you steal 5 Thors, it's a 60 supply swing in terms of effective combat power, which is crazy. Drones and Zerglings find this northern base. No gas mining left there for you, MARU. MARU's last minerals are mining. Vikings need to keep dealing with this. MARU's backing off right now. He's saying, okay, I need to stare at this, but I also need to get rid of the Zerglings. So I'm going to pull back. SERRAL tries to catch units as he pulls back, isn't able to. And where are the minerals on this map? We've got 1 patch there, 1 patch there, 1 patch there. About 400 minerals in total. We've still got a few thousand in this top right side. That few thousand minerals could be enough. SERRAL's building bank, both minerals and gas. He's building spores. He's still getting more lings for counterattacks as well, because anything he can do to pull MARU's attention away and buy himself a bit more time to mine out this top. SERRAL doesn't want to force the fight. He just wants to not trade terribly while mining this base out, and thereby removing the minerals from MARU's ability to take them. Nice EMP on the Infestors goes down. The Broodlords are getting some big damage. He's sending the Infestors in one at a time. So they're taking an EMP, but they're getting a fungal off before the EMP can do too much. Remember, it takes 2 EMPs to remove all the energy from a full energy Infestor. How many Broodlords have died this game? 15. There are still 21 Broodlords on the field. Great fungals. The SCV's being pulled in. The units are trying to push onto this base. MARU feels he needs to remove this base, but that means he's headbutting into the spores. The libs are getting taken out, as are the Vikings. And this last spore crawler doesn't quite get that last liberator. The Infestors are in the north. The Infestors are in the north. Neural Parasite's coming in. He's going to steal a bunch of these units and turn them against his own side. SERRAL with the Broodlords overwhelming. He might not have enough anti-air to deal with the Vikings. That could be the one problem here. The Thors come out of Neural Parasite. The Broodlords are able to clean them. There are just so many Broodlords, but he's only got a few Corruptors and a few Fungals. And so it does look like he's going to lose these Broods, or at least a lot of them. Corruptors desperately trying to build. If MARU can chase those down, he can deny the base. But there is, what, 8 Queens and 9 Corruptors building. If he can kill all the Broodlords, he can land the Vikings and maybe win this game. Great fungal to slow down that Viking chase. He's got to get rid of these Broodlords. MARU desperately chasing them down. He's killing a lot of them. He is trying to focus down as many Broods as he can. He finally starts focusing, firing a little bit better there. Corruptors coming in, though. He's got to win the fight versus the Corruptors. If he doesn't win this fight, he's done for in this game. Queens are going to chase him back as well. Viking stutter step is real, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. The 5-6 Corruptors are chasing them down more and more, popping out of their eggs and driving into the fight. MARU played a fantastic Ghost Smack game. It's the first time we've seen him do this versus SERRAL in so long. And what a bloody close game this is. But it's just not enough because MARU is out of cash. Those Ling run bys slowing him down, distracting him, buying SERRAL enough time to mine just enough resources out of the top right side. And MARU forcing the issue into that base, I'm not sure if it was the right call or not. It ended up being a game where at the end, 18,000 resource loss difference was there. Whew. Just SERRAL setting up with the spores, the defense, the fungals going in one at a time. That really was the secret. Those Infestors, if he set them in the clump and copped one good EMP, MARU would have wrecked him. And it would have looked really one-sided, and everyone would be complaining about Ghost right now. Instead, because SERRAL won the Infestor vs. Ghost micro, and the Viper vs. Ghost micro, we, at the end of this, no doubt have a lot of comments saying, Zergamba! Alright, fantastic map, that last one. It's so good to see, because we've wanted to see that exact matchup of SERRAL late game for Basilisk in the top right, up against MARU for onside in the bottom left. Mech into the Ghosties. Ghost Mech. I mean, it's such a good style, and like, MARU has looked unstoppable if he gets there versus Reina. Like, Reina has no chance. SERRAL is technical enough as we saw, that he can make it close, but even then, I feel like it's a game of the tiniest edges, where it'd be so cool if these guys just always played that late game, and that like meta evolves, and we see like which one's more favored, Terran or Zerg, because I feel like you really need MARU and SERRAL to play a ton of games to figure that. And even then, I don't even know if it answers that. It just answers who's better out of the two players. But unless there's been another game I've missed, I think that's only the second time ever that we've seen MARU play proper Ghost Mech against SERRAL. It won the first time, like I said, back in 2022, lost this time. And MARU's going back to bio play. This is the thing, MARU's never had faith in being predictable as a mech player. He's never been like, oh, they know I'm going to play mech, I'm going to do it anyway. It's like a surprise build he mixes in. I think he feels like if they know he's going to do it, the Zergs get a bit too far ahead. Oh, he almost gets the drone. Not quite. Damn. Good pressure, though, forcing the Spore Trick out. Nice heavy harassment. Link speed's on the way there for SERRAL. And he goes straight to 4 Queens. Building 2 Overlords as well, while he's waiting for, of course, the supply cap at 36 to happen. But a really good, solid opening. I like the way SERRAL played this, you know, just defending. 6 Zerglings going into 4 Queens. Behind it, we do see a factory on the front. So this is going to be a Cyclone Hellion follow-up for MARU. Unlike he plays mech afterwards, he does have a 3rd command center on the high ground. This was Kew's favorite follow-up for a long time. Chat's been asking, oh, the Reaper bugged out there. That happens a lot. They're asking how many minerals on a base. 10,800, guys, because there are 4 close patches with 1,800 minerals, and there are 4 far patches with 900 minerals. So you guys can figure that out. It's pretty good, man. Okay, so someone else was saying, how much is an army? Is it 6,000 minerals? Obviously, it depends on what the army is. But if you think of it, it's like a marine is 50 minerals. So if you have 120 marines, yeah, that's 6,000 minerals. So if you have like 80 workers and 120 marines, yes, it would be that much. But so yeah, I think as a general rule, 6,000, 7,000 minerals is probably about the right mark for most maxed out armies. As you get to lower drone counts in the end game, that could be up to 10,000. Or maybe close to that, maybe 9,000, 10,000. Yeah, the gas value as well, and it's a lot, of course, a lot more than that. Hellion Reaper is coming forward right now. We got 3 Reapers and 2 Hellions. I thought it would be Cyclones, but it's just Hellions into a Liberator. This is definitely the Cure build order, just doesn't bother with the 2 Cyclones. I like it. I actually really like this, and of course, he could swap the starport onto the reactor at some point, but he'll probably just build his own reactor. Stim is on the way. Double Engineering Bay will go down shortly, and SERRAL coming in for his first Overlord Scout will get that denied by those Marines pretty quickly. Lots of Queens here. They don't have creep out to the 3rd base yet, though. SERRAL's 3rd was very delayed this game. Does have a Baneley Nest and a Lair on the way. Spore Crawler up in the top of the main. Hellion Reaper poking around. Let's see what they can get done. Oh, doesn't quite kill that creep tumor. That's frustrating for MARU. Where's the double engineering bay, I wonder? He's going to swap the starport around now. Factory swaps off to build a tech lab. 3rd gas goes down. Okay, so he's going for double medevac. Interesting. I guess, actually, yeah, he knows this build really well. I was like, dude, she's going to float minerals, isn't he? No. I mean, obviously, you're massively delayed on your upgrades. Wait, why is he going single eBay? I think that's a misclick. I think he meant to go double, but he didn't have enough minerals. So when he clicked the second one, the worker basically just doesn't get an order because you don't actually have the money to give that order. Liberator's going to hide in the corner of the map right now. 2nd engineering bay does get corrected. Oh, no, it was up the top. Never mind, guys. I was just centering my screen wrong because I'm a simpleton. Simple pig. Simple pig. Tries to cast an elite real-time strategy game anyway. The Reapers are very annoying here because they can always just bounce these Queens around, but SERRAL's done a good job of splitting his stuff up. Those 2 Queens would get wrecked if the Reaper Alien decided to fight that. SERRAL's going to bring the rest of his Queens over as quickly as possible. Oh, double drop going towards the main. That is 11 Marines right now. Liberator's still in the back. I'd love to see him pair that Liberator up on the natural while the Hellions dive the 3rd. The Marines still dancing around. Wouldn't mind him trying to redrop that main base with a bit of maneuvering. Hellions are down here on the 4th base. If he moves south, he can focus the 4th. The Marines can redrop the main, and the Lib can go down the right side into the back of the natural, but seems like MARU's wanting to play a bit more chill. He doesn't really want to force the issue. I think he's sensing that SERRAL isn't really going to get overwhelmed by you just hitting in 2 or 3 places at once. So he's like, okay, deny 4th, kill creep, keep Liberator alive. Not a bad call, to be fair. I think SERRAL was expecting him to hit with all 3 prongs at once and try to overwhelm him. SERRAL was probably mentally prepared to bounce between all those situations. Careful, careful. Boosty zone, very scary. Oh! Big Baneling run by. Luckily, there's not many SCVs on this 3rd base. So this actually is not too bad. The joys of not really building that many workers that early. 6 SCVs for only 2 or 3 Banelings. Great trade for SERRAL nonetheless. He's trying to take the rich gas up front. Hellion Reaper is here. A few Marines just off creep. Combat Shields has not started. 1-1 upgrades 3/4 of the way done. The 4th and 5th barracks in the armory are on the way. MARU definitely looking to keep SERRAL small in this game with this kind of oddball mix of hodgepodge pressure that he's gone for. So far, he has kept SERRAL on only 61 drones. The siege tank is here. Oh, nice Baneling flank. It was the Banelings that were being used for the run by earlier on the other side of the map. He does save a siege tank there, but dude, if he had 2 tanks, that would be massive. Ling run by comes in at the same time. It does get cleaned up, but that was excellent. The way SERRAL brought those Banelings in from the rear was just so well done. And MARU, he killed him on Solaris, remember, with a sharp 7-minute 20 tank push. He tried to do the exact same thing off a different opening that time. This time, SERRAL was better prepared, but can SERRAL defend the next wave? The speedy zone is really going to support flanking Zerglings, which is why you don't want to siege anywhere near that. I think this is a much better tank position. And here we go, Ling's coming in from the south. Watch for it, Ling's coming in from the south and the north at the same time. Baneling's looking for the connect. Nice hot pickup for MARU. But he does lose both siege tanks. Maybe he could have unsieged that 2nd tank in time. If he unsieged that straight away, he might have been able to save that. 2nd factory's on the way. 2-2 upgrades has started. Combat Shields is on the way. And of course, 4 reactors, 1 tech lab, and even a 4th command center building. So MARU is up 2 workers. He's got an upgrade advantage. He's transitioning to the next stage, but he did lose most of his tech units. It's just Marines right now. He's trying to create pressure. But as the Hydras enter the field, I do worry he may overcommit, get some of these drops shot down, and that would be a huge swing back in SERRAL's favor. The supply also looks good for SERRAL, even though his worker count's been lower for a little bit. Seems like he's taking good fights. Yeah, he's down 1,000 resources, but that's perfectly fine for this stage as a Zerg. And as he builds a lot more workers, he takes the worker advantage. 77 drones against 67 SCVs. 3 more barracks are building. A couple of Banelings do get scouted there and taken out by the Reapers and Marines. Nice moves here for MARU. 3rd base does get hit by a run by, and the Marines unable to save that in time. Great move for SERRAL. Doesn't actually have Burrow just yet, by the way. We'll need to add that as time goes on. That is the 4th siege tank to die this game. Infestation Pit's on the way for SERRAL. He's got the rich gas as well. So that is 1 gas, 2 gas, 3, 4, 5, 6. However, he's not mining off these 2 gases with more than 1 worker. So even though SERRAL, if he mines out of those, he'll have the equivalent of 6 gases right now. He's actually a bit too low on gas to go Hive Tech, and I don't think he notices that. So SERRAL's probably, as he goes up above 80 workers, he's going to hit a gas starvation point as he morphs Banelings and whatnot. And he accidentally detonates a Baneling on the rocks there. Morphs 12 more Banes. Look, he's got no gas. I think he's going to realize when he tries to start the Hive, which should be any second now. SERRAL, there we go. Resaturates the gases on that 3rd while defending the north and south drops at the same time. 2 tanks building at a time right now for Mr. MARU. So it's bio tank for him. No Widow Mines this time around. Oh! The Queen's waiting in the main. MARU not watching, loses a full medevac. First big mistake for him in this series. Where are his drops on the south, by the way? Looks like he pulled these guys back. Big Ling Bane attack in the north, trying to get in the planetary. He's not quite done. Perfect timing for SERRAL. MARU's coming up with his whole army. His Marines need to all stim and spread. So many Banelings right now. The Banelings are getting gunned down. Watch out for that mineral line, though. This is a perfect timing for SERRAL. Can he take out the SCVs? Great spready for MARU. Beautiful spread. He saves the planetary, only loses 8 workers. That could have been a lot worse. Ling run by tries to come in. The siege tanks, at least one of them will die. Great trade for SERRAL, taking out 2 siege tanks. Make it 3. Oh, he gets a 3rd siege tank with the last Zergling hit. That is up to 6 siege tanks going down this game. Damn, dude. Lovely, lovely play right now. And remember, it's 7 or 8 tanks because some of them died to friendly fire. It only says 6 here. 7 or 8 total. More Banelings rolling in the south side. They're going to go after the depots, open that wall. SERRAL's in the driver's seat. He's got 92 drones. I think these last few run-bys have done enough to really just pull MARU's attention into his corner of the map. He's feeling claustrophobic. He hasn't been out there for a while. Maru's getting out on the upgrades. It's even right now as a Massling Bane Swarm rolls in. Maru not having the numbers to hang on. No Widow Mines to punish him for clumping up this Ling Bane. The Banelings on the high ground do get deflected, but not before 15 workers. The depots all go down, not to mention the tech lab as well. Maru's going to try and take a 5th base up front. I'm not too sure about that. I would like that to be an orbital, and then he can put the tanks on the edge and kind of lift it whenever he needs to. You can go planetary, of course, but that will allow it to be sniped. And it is indeed planetary, so it's something that SERRAL can invest Banelings into blowing up. Zergling down here sees Maru's move out. Maru stims forward. Runs right past the Urubu. Urubu, who are you? Urubu, Urabu, Zerg on you, says SERRAL. As he runs down here with a big Ling Bane army. Single Zergling attacking the planetary in the north as well. +3 attack finally starting for Maru. Still no +3 armor. +3 carapace was already on the way for SERRAL, who's got Burrow, Vipers, range upgrades. Doesn't have any other tech though. Adrenal glands as well, but no lurkers, no broodlords. Bio in the north. Oh. Does save some of them into the medevacs. Rest of the bio coming forward. Concussive shells has been made, which is very important for slowing these advances. Blinding clouds for SERRAL could also be massive. Ghosts are starting to come out. This planetary did take 300 hit points of damage. Whilst the tanks are kind of covering it, you can still just blow it up and then run away. Just don't chase into tanks, because the tanks don't shoot until you're right on top of it. Great move there for SERRAL. Kill the planetary. He's going to keep going. There we go. Good choice to pull back. Definitely not where you want to keep pushing forwards. But SERRAL, after the Baneling run by and then that flank on that southern push, it feels like he's taken the wind out of Maru's sails. Even though Maru had good pressure for a while, SERRAL has been all over him since then. This southern base has been a massive weak spot. Now that top base, like I said, I wish it was an orbital so we could have just lifted it up and flown it away. There's only 6 Hydras. It's essentially a mass Ling Bane style for SERRAL. Lurkidens on the way. We've got more tanks, libs, and +3 armor. That new 5th command center is still building. Maru showed in the last game he can always recover. And it doesn't matter how many workers you kill. You kill 33, he's still at 84 workers. There are ghosts here. EMP! Double EMP on the Vipers. No energy for you. And more importantly, he's got reacted Widow Mines building. A big misstep in my opinion. Well, not a big one, sorry. A small thing that Maru should do is repair these buildings. Losing that reacted factory out front and going back to 1 factory is a death sentence for Terran. You need those Widow Mines to stall out this Massling Bane. Oh, Dropper Lord's morphing. He's going to go for a big Ling drop into the main. Maru is like, okay, we're going to late game. I better build turrets in my main just in case. Could be a Lurker drop, actually. Army splitting right now. SERRAL trying to maintain this creep spread. It's kind of choking Maru's position out. He can't even float a command center down right now. He's having to just slowly branch forward with small sections of units. Oh. Tanks on the high ground do defend. Spire coming in as well. SERRAL getting ready for the end game if he has to. I don't know if Lurkers is a good idea with 7 siege tanks and 5 ghosts on the map. Oh, great spotting there, but the EMP doesn't get off until after the first 2 abducts have been cast. So killing 2 siege tanks, pulling back to get more energy, that's the sort of efficiency that SERRAL's looking for. Of course, it is 16,000 resource loss for SERRAL, 12,000 for Maru, a 4,000 difference, 25%. Pretty standard for this matchup. Bio up against Ling Bane. SERRAL, though, has 5,000 minerals in the bank because he's been mining so much more this entire time. And look at the income graph over the last 10 minutes. Often over 2,000 or over 1,500 minerals a minute at a few moments in this game, or overall resources, I should say, not necessarily just minerals. Alright, Ling Bane coming in, the Vipers as well. Watch out for the Widow Mines! Oh, big Widow Mine lands! Massive Widow Mine hit. Is it enough? Yeah, it's enough. He defends the planetary this time around, but Drop's trying to sneak in the main. There are turrets there. Does he go past or does he turn it around? SERRAL, he puts the empty Overlord in front. He says, take one for the team, please. Flies into all 4 turrets. Those Overlords ain't going to be going home, that's for sure. Actually, you know, he could actually get out of there if he focuses the turrets, which he is. That's a pretty good idea as well. He has Burrow. Looks like the Overlords will fly out, even though they'll leave the Zerglings there to wreak as much havoc as possible. Second Armory goes down. First Armory is also taking a fair bit of damage. He's already burrowed a few Zerglings. And funnily enough, Maru's not even stopping. He's just like, no, we're just going to clean those up straight away. Of course, he needs to clean up the rest, but at the front, oh god. Remember, it's not an orbital, which means it goes down. Just committing with the Ling Hydra, a few Banelings as well. SERRAL with a very good decision to remove that planetary. The Zerglings are still here. They might be able to get rid of the armory. 3-3 is done for MARU. He's trying to make building armor as well. But this drop, sacrificing it through the turrets, just getting in on top of that against a Max Terran. And MARU just sent too much of his army back to deal with it. MARU needed to be a bit more tactical. Send a squad of bio to methodically clean it up along with his production. And he needed to realize it's never going to be one thing at once. It's SERRAL you're playing against. He's always going to do two things at once. Turret's trying to rebuild those two Lings, though. If he waits like 5 seconds, unburrows them, kills all these SCVs building the turrets, MARU will be super mad. He missed 2 Zerglings in the bottom. SERRAL doesn't seem to have realized either, to be fair. He's going in again. He does not want to let this 5th base be taken. He says, if you're stuck on 4 base, I can do this all day. The ghosts accidentally move in. I think they were looking for the EMPs, but they move into the Banelings. They do spread back afterwards before taking deadly hits. But man, MARU has to cancel his planetary again. There is now a creep blocking that location. He has to scan to get rid of it. Those Zerglings unburrowing. These are +3 melee adrenal gland 3-3 Zerglings. +3 adrenal gland 3-3 Zerglings. Redundancy at its finest right here, guys. 85 workers looking fantastic. Just making fun of my sentence there as I was repeating the information. Single infestor on the way. Anabolic synthesis, which is of course ultralisk speed. Gives them a small boost off creep. SCVs are going to repair the command center. SERRAL's just going to keep going at it, man. I wouldn't mind him attacking elsewhere. Don't want to be too pig-headed about this. Oh, he's coming in from the north. Bit of an awkward engage. The Blinding Cloud's good. Blinding Cloud's good. Oh, the abducts onto the low ground could be really nice as well. The Hydra's taking those out. The Baneling's not able to get on the Ghost, but a lot of SCVs going down. The command center taking massive damage, and it survives. Great defense. Great defense for MARU. I mean, we're used to saying that. I should just say MARU defense. The problem is, of course, that he is so far behind. So even though he's traded 7,000 resources more efficiently, you know, he's hanging on. He is making 3 tanks and 2 Hellbats at a time, which is also great. Up to 5 factories now. Ooh, Cure used to do this a lot. Mixing in more siege tanks to deal with the Lingbane Hydra. The Baneling Hydra, bad against the tanks. Widowmine's good versus just about everything. And Hellbats now with Blue Flame coming in will be very useful once that kicks in. Lings are going to clear up this 3rd base. Uh-oh. Oh, no. Oh, that's really bad. He's actually... MARU! Lift the buildings. He's got to lift the buildings. He's trying to get down here with the Ghost. The command center does lift and save itself. Immediately lands it again. But that 3rd base is... The non-planetary base is always such a weak point. He has to put a bit more entrenchment there. Maybe a full bunker or something. The Infestors here spotting for this. Siege tanks on their own. Easy pickings for Hydras and Zerglings. The Infestor does get shot there. Scan does spot it. And he does take down the Infestor. Bit of friendly fire on the tank, but that's okay. MARU could stabilize, it'd be amazing, but he's just not there. He's only got 4 orbitals. You might think, oh, just drop mules will be fine. Not on 4 orbitals. He's got to use scans. EMPs on the Vipers, but the Vipers were pre-split. One of them coming back in with high energy. Banelings splitting against the SCVs and the Planetary rather than chasing the Ghosts up the ramp. Great choice by SERRAL. And once again, just technical trades, shaving off whatever's in the open. The tank on the high ground is a good idea to entrench this position. But man, SERRAL has just caused him so many problems. I feel like MARU really needed, a full bunker surrounded by buildings. Something like that would be great. Because then he needs to at least invest Banelings in this. Whereas, as it is, SERRAL's just like, oh, lol. I build Zerglings. They take like 12 seconds to build. They pop out, and I just click them in this base, and they get value. I barely need to micro them. And it's such a sure thing. Over and over again, this 3rd base has been a massive weak point for MARU. Something he needs to do something to shore up those defenses in the next map. If we get there, because right now it's looking like we won't get there. Let's be honest, SERRAL is up 70 supply. SERRAL is all over it. He has played an excellent game on Solaris, and I like that MARU opted for another one of those fast tank pushes, even though he used it in the last series. I just think SERRAL with the flanking Banelings, the lovely surround, was a little bit too good at shutting it down, and from there, I don't think MARU was behind, but it felt like MARU just lost a tiny bit of momentum. And then SERRAL was like running Banelings into mineral lines, catching MARU off guard, keeping him on the defense. Oh, the snipes. Great snipes on the Hydra line. It's a lot of Ling Bane though. Where are the Hellbats? They're trying to come south, but there's only a few of them. Oh, the Lings in the mineral line as well. The Banelings are petering out. You know, they're not really finding a big center mass. The Ghosts with a beautiful spready, but MARU cannot protect his economy. You can't protect your economy when you're running away like that. Down to 16 workers, and he just gets ground down, a dominating 3-0, as you can see here for SERRAL. That last game, though, one of the ones that's excited me the most in a while, that game 2, I'm so happy to see Ghost Mech. I really think it could go either way if we see that exact same matchup again. So I really hope MARU brings that out the next time they play. For now, though, MARU goes to the losers bracket. SERRAL continues through the winners.